Hey, Alexus, Love Beauties and Flawless Man. Welcome back to another podcast episode. We're going to have a raw and uncut conversation. If you are single in 2025, stay single. If you are in a relationship in 2025, then if you know and feel that you and your partner are wanting to be in a healthier relationship, then in 2025, you both will begin to do the individual work. It is harder to get with someone or be with someone when you both have not found your own identity. When you come into a covenant with someone and you both don't know who you are, you don't know your purpose, you don't know love, you don't even know what compassion and commitment and loyalty and trustworthiness and communication and support is, then that relationship is just going to keep going off a strong delusion. If you are single, this podcast was meant for us in general because it is kind of harder when you're in a relationship to help someone when they are already so comfortable. And then when we are in covenants, it is harder to actually change things and get especially when you're not a teachable person. If you're not a teachable person, it's going to be hard to try to teach that person in that relationship. I've seen this fail a lot, so I'm not here for it anymore. Like trying to train a man up in a way that he should go, right? But if you're single, we're going to stay single for these reasons. Because of depth. A lot of the times, people do not take that individual time to heal. First of all, people be jumping relationship to relationship. And the more and more they jump relationship to relationship and they don't take that time to pause and break, they're not healing. And they're just getting trauma bonded and they're getting dumped with burdens and they think it's normal. And the more and more they keep going on, this is what hurt people. But a person that really has a true and genuine loving heart, they're going to take that break for themselves. And then for the love of others. We can't go into relationships with depth. We used to ask people their favorite color. We need to be asking, what mental illness do you have in your family? Do you have depth? If you get into a relationship with someone and you have depth, you both will never live. And then imagine getting married to that person. Say you come in, you got $100,000 worth of debt. This man talks to you, y'all hitting it off. The relationship is great, but you never told him that. And that's another thing. Alexus, Love Beauties and Flawless Man. That's why I say we have to get more realistic with the questions we be asking and not what's your favorite position. We grown here, so we just gonna say it. We be so quick to talk about sex, but we ain't talking about mental illness, financial stability. We don't be talking about dreams. Listen, what's your debt look like? Because if I don't have no debt and I have set the time down to be responsible and mature and pay my debt, and I get into a relationship with you and you got $100,000 worth of debt and we get married, now your burdens are my burdens. And now we're going to be struggling to pay off your debt, or the same thing with child support. Now, hear me out in this podcast now. I don't judge people and I don't try to talk about people. If you have children, you have children. But here's the thing. When you get into that relationship and you don't express to that woman that, hey, I'm in debt with child support, and then you marry that woman, now those burdens become hers. See, a person that really loves you, that has a pure and genuine heart, they're not going to even put you in a situation like that. But we have to be careful in 2025 because there is these demons out here seeking whom they can devour. And the last thing we be thinking about is, man, I done got tired and we got a bank account together, we got debt together, but I didn't have nothing. That is not an equally yoked relationship. While we are single, we need to take the time to heal ourselves and invest in ourselves. When we hear that all the time, but what is healing? What is investment? These are the things that go in healing into investment. Your spirituality, your relationship with Jesus Christ, your finances, your body, your healing, your purpose in life, your calling, the things that you like to do. What do you like to do on your free time? These are the things that when we talk about self-help and self-improvement, personal development, these are the things that we think that really don't matter, but it does. Your communication skills, the way you feel about yourself, your level of confidence. These are the things. Doing your extended research, reading, learning, growing, expressing, getting a therapist if you need to. If you have depth, you don't need to be worrying about a relationship in 2025. And it's not fair for you to have set aside all your time to make sure that your name is good. That's all we have is our name, our currency. That's our currency. You can't go into a bank and just get some money if your name is not good. So it is major. And a lot of times we be like, oh, it's good. We just going to struggle in this relationship. It's 2025. We're not struggling in no more relationships. We're not telling nobody else about I need this done. I need that done. And they see what you need done, or you already told them about that. If you have debt, pay your debt. It's a strong delusion that sometimes I've done it myself. You sit here and you look at other people. Oh my God, they got a relationship. I'm single, right? Or, oh my God, they got kids and they got a family, but I don't. And then when you talk to certain people, they make you feel even worse. Like, dang, you ain't got no kids yet. Dang, you still single. Well, you must ain't be. Listen, Alexus Love Beauties and Flawless Man, I'm here to tell you, you her and you him. And you are wise enough to not get in certain situations. And I congratulate us for that. Don't let nobody make you feel bad in 2025 because you ain't got $100,000 worth of debt. Because I know 20-year-olds that's cashing out 80 already about to go bankruptcy. That's not cute, boo. It's not. So don't let nobody make you feel bad because you ain't got no debt or you paying your debts. See, what we'll do is some of us, like I said, including myself before, you would look out and be like, oh my God, they vacationing all the time. They doing this and they doing that. We're not about to struggle to live this life. We're not about to struggle to look good on social media. We're not about to struggle to go on a vacation. We'll never live if we have debt. The Lord said, in the Lord's Prayer says, Lord, forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. Come on, Jesus. The Lord doesn't want us to owe anyone. You want to know why? Because the Lord has already paid with our life. We be paying for stuff that we shouldn't even got the ticket for that. Alexus Love Beauties and Flawless Man, pay your debts. Pay your debts. That's going to be the most healthiest way in a relationship. Financial stability, pay your debts. You should be coming together with somebody out of love, not trauma, not because you got bills and you got debts. And we have to watch these people because everybody's intentions is different. But for us in our house, we're going to pay our debts so we can be comfortable in our relationships. If you are single, stay single. If you still got attitude problems, if nobody can correct you, if you can't sit down until we're human, right? So we're going to agree to disagree in these relationships, right? But if someone cannot humbly correct you, if you are too scared to humbly correct someone, the example I always like to give is, we always talk about everything, do everything with people, just like being intimate. We'll be intimate with somebody, knowing them in the spirit, knowing their soul and all of the things. But the last thing we'll say is when something is off, like, you know what? It just wasn't, we need to stop doing that. Be real, talk, communicate about everything that needs to be communicated about. Communicate about that debt. Communicate about that attitude. And see, you can't go into a relationship with an attitude and expecting somebody to respect you. So if you're single, stay single. Work on your attitude. Work on your humbleness. Work on being able to be slow to speak and quick to hear. Females, Alexus Love Beauties, right? Alexus Love Beauties. We have to learn when a man is righteously correcting us and he's not trying to argue with us. Like y'all already know it. We already getting started. We're going to come back on another podcast, ladies, because that attitude and all that aggression is not cute. And the way that people making y'all women feel, because I already know it's delusion, but man, if she, if some of the men have y'all delusional too, like, man, if she ain't busting out my windows, then I don't want her. Don't be that woman. Because see, at the end of the day, they still never be wanting you anyway. At the end of the day, men have a soft spot. They do. They were created to have a soft spot for us. A lot of the times, the reason they accepting that behavior, these females hitting on them and doing that and messing up their stuff, is because it's trauma and they're used to their mother doing it. And a lot of us women, our mothers, some of them women, not us, but some of them women are mothers in these relationships. All of that attitude, we're not doing that attitude. Return to sender. We have to drop the attitude. And the same thing for the men. Like all of that, men, I'm good, I heard you. Drop the attitude. If you still have an attitude that you have not worked on, you don't need to be in a relationship in 2025. I'm just being real with y'all and myself, because I'm going to run this podcast back. You don't need to be seeking a relationship if can't nobody even talk to you. Now, in a relationship, you have to let that person know, because we're human. We're going to bump heads, agree to disagree. We have to learn our communication styles. Hey, is you somebody that got an attitude and you need 2 days and then we can bring it back up? Because see, this is how I believe. People be like, oh, well, if it's done, you don't got to bring it back up. If you done with something and it doesn't come back up, but you still feel offended, you still feel angry, you still feel misled. Come on, Jesus. You still feel abandonment. You still feel pressure. You still feel like you got to people please in some type of way. Whatever feeling that you might have is not done. It's not done. Now, all of the times you might not be able to go back and talk to the people. When we do things in this life and we have these experiences in this life, it's never done until we do the work of healing, which means fasting and praying, communicating with God, and turning away from these wicked ways and doing things different. So you just walking away from a situation is not saying that it's done. It's still going to be there. What happens is now that attitude shows up in a different relationship. Yeah, you never talked about that with you and your last girlfriend. You and your last boyfriend never had that conversation about, hey, what type of person are you? Do we need to take an hour? Do you like to talk about it right now? Do you need to get a sip of water and then we can come sit down? Do we need to go on a date and talk about it? Do we need to sleep in a different house tonight and then come back because we got that heated? And when people don't know those things and they don't take the time to do those things, this is where you start getting abusive in a relationship, along with the other things that you have built up. If you still got an attitude and you refuse to learn, you refuse to humble yourself to God, first of all, to an elder, second of all, and to anybody that is giving you righteous counsel, like somebody at your job, if you can't accept authority, you need to be single in 2025. We got to work on our attitudes. Finances. In 2025, we got to work on our finances, especially if you have children and you're single or if you're in a relationship. Our finances, like the world, and I just heard like 20 something businesses shut down last year. So we know that when COVID happened, we still know that we still got to make it happen, right? But we can't be dependent on these jobs and these companies and these places and these things. We have to get in our purpose. We have to get in our careers, y'all. We have to get some extra certifications and certificates under our belts. We don't got to go to college for 30 years, but if you need to, go ahead and do it. If you need to go and take a little, we need more education under our belts. We need to be starting these businesses, not just starting a business because everybody talking about starting a business, but getting the wisdom on how to keep that business. You know how many people started a business and they don't have a business and then had to go back to a job that probably shut down again? Alexus Beauties and Flawless Man, our finances, we're going to get that wisdom from God. Seek ye first the kingdom of God and then all of these things. And then he will plant that seed. And then you'll do your extended research. And then you might go through the fire, but it will come to pass. Learn about finances. It's time out for us just downloading these apps, putting our money into the saving account and still needing to use it again. Financial inheritance. A lot of us have not learned about financial stability. We don't have that wisdom about finances. So we keep working paycheck to paycheck. We say that because we don't know how to break down the paycheck to paycheck and invest it somewhere else and have the money working for us. We working so hard. I heard from a radio station in New Jerusalem that you don't even work on certain days in Jerusalem. It's too much work for you to even lift your finger. The elevators move by themselves. We be working way too hard. Not saying that, no, don't give me now. Come on now. We rebuke the spirit of sloth, but there's another way that when we work in our passion, when we work in our calling, the work is not going to be hard. The work that I do is not hard work. I'm actually in love with the things that God has given me and told me and that we're doing. It has gotten a little complicated in some areas, but I'm still in love with what we're doing on this channel. I'm still in love with lip gloss. I'm still in love with health, healing, learning, and I'm still investing. Although the times are trying times, but that's okay. I'm not giving up, boo. Don't give up. Learn about finances. Learn how to be fruitful and multiply. God gave you that one seed. Flip that seed into 100 more seeds like Scrub Daddy. Y'all came out with a scrubber, two-sided scrubber, scrub mommies, scrub children. They finna make a whole family. People putting the scrub daddies on the bottom of now here go a collaboration with the mops, and then that's how you be fruitful and multiply. You take that one seed and you multiply. God took that one man and he multiplied. That's how we be fruitful and we multiply. But we can't do all of that if we're not seeking God for his wise counsel. We got to get our finances in order this year so we can be comfortable in our relationships. So we ain't robbing Peter to pay Paul. So you ain't calling your mama, come on, Jesus. And I ain't calling my daddy and we trying to figure out how our bills going to get paid. Come on. When two heads are better than one. That's why the Lord said that man needed help meant for him. That man looked around and couldn't find no help for him. Not the homeboys. Come on, Jesus. We finna get into it. Not the gang. Not none of some of the family. Listen, a real man is going to leave his mother and his father and cleave into his wife. And men already be knowing who their wife is when they know. Finances. We got to get our finances in order. If you single, stay single. Get your finances in order so we can build this house on a solid foundation in the name of Jesus. Alexus Love Beauties and Flawless Man, if you have yet to do family healing or any type of self-work, any type of shadow work, any type of you being humble and listening to what people are saying, taking into consideration and trying to change yourself, if you have yet to look into the mental illness in your family, what runs in your bloodline, if you're not even sure about who your ancestors are and you're out here calling on all these different gods, if you don't even know your spiritual ancestors, see, I told y'all who I believe my ancestors are. Those that did the will of my father, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, David, Jesus. If you don't know your spiritual ancestors, you don't know anything about your history and that, not just the slavery stuff. If you don't know anything about history or anything about God or the spiritual, and then your physical family, the different things that if you don't know, let me slow down, your spiritual bloodline. And then you don't know your physical bloodline. So you don't know how to pray in the spirit or know how to fast or do certain things in the spirit in general to just get connected with God. And then in the physical, you don't even know how to have, responsible conversations with your own family, and you haven't looked into your blood type, or you haven't looked into, the certain things that run in your family and got tested for something. We need to be single. We need to be single. We need to learn ourselves. That go back into learning yourself is learning your family. Learning the God you serve. If you have yet to do family work, whether that's you being, confident and comfortable enough to speak to your parents, even if they're disrespectful, and you healing with that, then you don't need a relationship. You are not going to be able to respect my parents if you don't respect your own parents, if you don't love them for who they are, whether they have yet to do the work or whether they're settled in their life or not. If you can't communicate with your own dad and you still holding that man because he wasn't in my life, if you can't communicate with your own mother and you still holding that woman because you didn't teach me how to be a woman, but you have yet to learn also, you need to be single in 2025. We can't keep blaming these people because we have our own lives. Some of us had kids, some of us didn't, and our parents did the same thing. If you have yet to forgive your mother and father and still honor them to this day, you need to be single in 2025. If you have yet to spiritually upgrade, you need to be single in 2025. Spiritual upgrade. You're working on your character. You're working on trying to follow the laws of the land, because I know it's difficult because I'm working on it too. You're working on the 10 commandments. You're working on your relationship with God. You're learning about fasting and praying. You're working on fasting and praying. You're learning how to fight demons. You're working on learning how to fight. If you have not spiritually upgraded in 2025, you need to be single. Because see, then you're going to mess around and be messing with somebody that serve multiple gods. Then you're going to mess around, come on, Jesus, and you're going to be with somebody that's being with somebody that's with somebody, and then y'all want to have all these different relationships, and then we serve multiple gods. I said it all right there. A spiritual upgrade. Know the God you serve. We all might serve a different God. That's cool. I don't judge y'all, but we talk about Jesus over here. Know the God that you serve. And this is the thing when it comes to God. When God talks about being an equally yoked, it don't matter if it's never going to work. I'm going to just tell you straight up. If you're a Christian and a Buddhist, it's not going to work. If you're a Muslim and a Christian, it's not. So learn who you serve. Stay solid in your belief. Do your spiritual upgrade. Do what you need to do. Whatever that is, whatever stipulations your God holds you to. Because see, God have a standard and boundary. And it doesn't matter what God you serve. All these different gods they have. Let's just focus on our God. Jesus has boundaries and standards that you have to meet in order to be qualified as an ordained child of God. Like, we're all children of God because he created us all, but we're all in different offices also. Like he said in Romans chapter 12, I love it there. I love it in Romans chapter 12. We are all created from the same God, but we're in different offices. So if we're serving different gods, it's not going to work. Be comfortable and confident in the God that you serve in 2025, and don't string nobody else along. Date in your own religion. I'm going to just say that. Because then in some way it'll be equally. You can't try to force Jesus on somebody that's an atheist. We got to stop doing those things in those relationships, because that's how we get in a stronger delusion. We don't even know what God we serve. We can't even pray together. If you can't pray together, you need to be single in 2025. Y'all, this podcast is good. I didn't even think we was going to be here that long. Thank you for listening. In 2025, if you don't know how to reset your DNA, you need to be single. The easiest way to reset your DNA is to fast, a dry fast. And I know we have yet to get into that here on this channel. I'm still trying to seek the Lord for that wisdom on how to break that down. We have shared things. We do have a saved video from Dr. I think his name is like Philip, and I think it's our lifestyle playlist. Be sure to check out those playlists because we have some things shared and saved from other content creators that, maybe it's not my field to get too much into it, or maybe I just haven't got the words from the Lord to put it all together. But fasting, resetting your DNA. If you don't know how to reset your DNA, if you haven't learned about, reflexology, or you're getting massages, or you don't meditate, or you don't fast and pray, then you're not resetting your DNA. If you have yet to break soul ties and get out of these covenants and rebuke these things and renounce these things, then we need to be single in 2025, because I don't need the way that the last man did me coming over to this man of God. I don't need all the DNA from that person. When y'all understand intimacy, it's so powerful. I don't need all that DNA from all them people getting sprung onto this man, and he did the work and I ain't do the work, and now I'm over here traumatizing him again, opening up all these different portals and gates that he done closed. But because I ain't did the work, now I'm leading us astray. It's easy to be led astray in a relationship. It's easy to lose yourself and not know yourself and have your own identity in a relationship. We need to reset our DNA. We need to reset our mind. And reflexology, you could just pull that up on Google. If fasting for beginners, and thank you, Lord, we're probably, when the time is right, we'll get into a fasting more, but fasting for beginners, the easiest way to reset your DNA, if it's hard to fast or you probably haven't looked into it, if you look up reflexology, your fingertips and all of your hand, this is why we are so, we're education filled about our hands and our feet, and we keep our hands and our feet good. And this is why we do hand and feet content, because we understand that our external organs operates our internal organs. So when we look at reflexology and we see that you can just simply massage your fingertips and your toes tips, that you can reset your brain, we need to be resetting our DNA. That way we can know how to love somebody and love ourselves more in 2025. Alexus Love Beauties and Flawless Man, we need to be breaking these soul ties in 2025. I'm going to be real with y'all. Breaking soul ties is not easy, but it needs to be done. And honestly, it's one soul tie that I don't want to break, but it needs to be done. And that sounds so selfish and that sounds so bad, but I'm honest enough to say that on this podcast, because I'm honored enough to say it in the spirit. I told God these things, but that now, see, you got to be able to be humble enough in yourself to say, dang, I'm gonna just be real with you. I'll break every other soul tie. And this person, I already know we ain't compatible, but I still want to be connected with them. And I feel like, well, they told me so. We still kind of want to be connected in a sense, but that's selfishness. We are both being selfish, and we're both operating not in a godly, that's not godly. Because in a sense, we're still holding on to each other, knowing we don't want to do nothing with each other, knowing we don't want to be, but in a sense, we still want to, that's selfish. So I know that. So I know I'm not ready for a relationship in 2025 because I need to break that soul tie for real. Not trying to hold on to somebody and want to, no, everybody. It's not fair for you to have that tie and you get, with this good person, and then you still got that tie you holding on to, and then the enemy tempts you. And then we don't got time for temptation in these good relationships. Ain't nobody finna be going through all of that because we have yet to do the work. And then here we are being tempted and we fall into temptation and we done messed up a kingdom. Be real enough to say, I'm not ready for a relationship because there's some soul ties that I still need to break. It's some things that I still need to get off of me. Be wise enough to say that. Love yourself enough to say that. So Alexus Love Beauties and Flawless Man, if you have listened to the whole 25-minute podcast, I love you for that. You love yourself for that, because this is wisdom that we do need. And I just want to say, 2025 is a blessing to be alive, and I don't want to keep on fooling. Like I just said, I don't want to keep on holding on to that soul. So it's getting me nowhere. It's not getting me nowhere. So what I need to do, be responsible, break that crap off so I can go on about my life, so I can get what I truly deserve, which is a relationship, which is a marriage. We always want something, and we've seen a lot of people getting married in this relationship. And in these last few years, we've seen a lot of people getting, having children and different things like that. And we see them being traumatized, and people are still trying to substitute love See, come on, Jesus. People are taking things of God like marriage, family, relationship, business opportunity. People are taking things and they're giving it to people they don't even belong to, but they don't have the wisdom to know that. We're not doing that in 2025. We're not doing that in 2025 because it's somebody that deserves all of you. So break that soul tie. That goes for me too. Break that soul tie because somebody deserves all of you and they deserve the best version of you. I love you. God bless you. And stay single if you need help.